Friends, my name is Ruth Ann and I own Abundant Blooms Flower Farm. I'm a year 5 flower farmer in West Michigan. I'm in Zone 6B and I filmed a farm tour this morning to share with everybody, and I hope you enjoy it. My goal with these is to just take farm tours, videos throughout the season so we can see the garden change together. I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe and comment in the comment section if you have any comments. That really helps my channel, and I'm trying to get the word out. It's a brand new channel, and I think it would just be fun to follow along. Thank you. Coming on my farm tour, I got my coffee. I'm going out to the road, and I'm going to start at the road and turn around so you can kind of get a lay of just the land and how the flow of this works. Okay, so here we are at the road. So this is the lay of the property, and just to kind of give you an overview of what the farm looks like. So you can see our house. That shed with the AC unit is our cooler next to the house, and here we come along. This is what I refer to as our front woody and perennial bed. So these are all woodies and perennials up in the front here. We put this in the August of 2022, so this is coming into its second year of production. There's a few other bushes here. This is a snowball viburnum, which is going to bloom soon in a couple weeks. I have different flowers, different shrubs in here. This is a lilac right in front of us. All of these woodies are from Spring Meadow from here in Grand Haven. You can see the buds there at the tips of those shrubs, and those are going to be the lilacs, obviously. And then you can see I have a bunch of lilacs up here. Just keep going up the line. This is smoke bush coming next. It looks really good. It's just starting to leaf out. And then this is a kind of 9-bark. It's like a darker maroon 9-bark. I think they're so cute. They have these itty bitty leaves that will just keep growing and growing. The next row is a darker 9-bark, and then that chartreusey green is another kind of smaller leafed 9-bark. It's really fun. I really enjoy that. Those performed so well for me last year. Moving on, this is a hydrangea. There's that small leaf 9-bark. It's a really productive 9-bark. There's a couple peonies there. This is coralberry bells or symphocarpus. Also performed amazing last year. That's a pink berried variety. Down here there's spirea and viburnum. There's also a killdeer there kind of freaking out. She must have a nest. I haven't been able to find it. But so you can see everything is just starting to wake up. I just think springtime is such an exciting time of year, and I really love it. Here's the baptisia. I just burned these holes bigger, and you can see the baptisia is really starting to emerge and put out its little shoots, and that's fun. It definitely is grown. I had to enlarge the holes. This is some peonies. These are second-year peonies. This is eucalyptus, which I attempted to overwinter. I will totally come back and see how that does. I think some stuff is alive, and I think some stuff is dead. This is more baptisia, different variety. There's a weed. I'm trying to find and dig and see if it's alive. I'm not seeing it there, so I'm moving on to try and find the shoots that are emerging. And is it gonna be, will there be growth? Oh yeah, look at that. So it looks like it's alive. So I have 2 more whole rows of baptisia on this side, different colors. So that's fun. This is perennial phlox, which I have to go and enlarge these holes. I was looking at that while I was filming. There's definitely phlox under the holes. I thought I had enlarged all the holes I needed to around this place because I did a bit of that the other day, but I definitely need to make these holes bigger, which is exciting. This is, let's see, I planted this phlox last year. I'm trying to think when, but last year, maybe middle of the summer. So we're just moving on here. So this is the end of that front bed. This is all woodies and perennials. There are no annuals in this section. Moving on, we're going to swing over and see this peony section. This is new. I put this in the fall, so fall of 2023. Yes, I planted peonies even on my due date. I was pregnant last fall, and I was out there crawling around pregnant, trying to get these 100 and 200, 160. I can't remember how many I ordered. There's a bunch of them in there. I think it looks really nice and tidy, and I'm really excited about this little patch here. I have peonies in actually 3 different locations, but they're all kind of close to each other. We have 2 acres, so nothing is super far apart. This is the side of my house. You can see there's peonies coming up. There's 3 different kinds of peonies. These are the first peonies I planted. I planted them, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. You can see how big they are. They're on the south side of our house, so they're always faster. Those I planted just for pleasure, but now I cut them. This is variegated Solomon seal, and underneath the deck here is more Solomon seal. You can see those little shoots coming up. That's more of the Solomon seal. Okay, moving on, we're headed out to the large area, which used to be more of an annual area, but honestly, I am transitioning more and more to perennials. And as we speak, I have a bunch of woodies and perennials that arrived yesterday, and I have more coming later this week. So this is turning into more and more of a perennial area. This is more phlox. Interestingly, behind the shed there, it's not nearly as big. I'm hoping it just will emerge and be okay. Back in this whole wood chipped area is something called gooseneck loosestrief, which is very much coming up. That's the phlox. So this is the gooseneck loosestrief. We've put a lot of work into this spring, weeding and mulching. We're not quite done. You can see there's cardboard down at the end. We still have to fill that in. The cardboard is the pathway, and then where the loosestrief is, there is no cardboard because it spreads by rhizomes, so you want to be able to give it place to spread. This is going into its second year. You can see the shoots there if you know what you're looking for. They're pretty hard to see, but see there's one right by my finger. Those are old daffodils that I tried to transplant, and they just keep coming up and they don't hurt anything. So this is the edge of our property. Those trees are basically the edge, so that other section is our neighbors. Swooping around to the back of the house. Ooh. Now we're going to keep walking. That field behind us is our neighbors. That's the farmer behind us. It's been hay for a couple of years. So this is Eupatorium I planted last fall, another perennial. You can see I'm adding a lot of perennials. I'm hoping it's just slow to emerge and it's not dead because I've got like no growth on it. So I have to look and see if it's just a slower to emerge spring emerger. I'm hoping it's not all dead, otherwise it's all dead. This is snapdragons that I planted from plugs. They look great. They've been in the ground, I don't know, 10 days maybe. So they look really great. Next to that is some Sweet William that I planted last fall, which is even budding up, but it looks a little rough. I should probably pinch it. This is Delphinium there on the left. Now we're swinging over just to kind of overview the garden. I direct seeded several those next 2 beds there last fall, so they overwinter. Again, we're in zone 6B. We were 5A, and now we're 6B with the new zoning. Over there's so here's the delphinium. It's getting some bupleurum poking through it, but you can see it looks pretty good. It's really putting on a lot of growth. I lost some, but it looks pretty good. I might have to go through and get rid of some of that bupleurum because a little bit it's choking out the delphinium. I left some of it because it was filling in the holes, and who doesn't love volunteer bupleurum? I do. So there's the snaps here's the bupleurum growing through the holes with the delphinium. Um, there's a whole row of it almost. These are 65-foot long beds and they're 3 feet wide. Snaps, and then this is campanula. I love how you can see the different varieties of campanula by the different shades of the leaves. They overwintered really great. I fall planted those. Those were plugs from Farmer Bailey, and they did really great. I'm so excited to see them bloom, and I've never grown them in that quantity before. So this is fall planted bupleurum. The last third of the closest third of this bed was really poor germination. The rest of the bed looks a lot better. I'm not quite sure why it did that, but this is larkspur and it looks fantastic. It was fall planted. By that I mean I direct sowed this sometime in September last year, and that's a giant poppy pod. This is where I had my poppies last year, and it looks really great. It's actually really big. This I spring planted, so in February, as soon as I could work the ground, I planted this. This is saponaria, 2 different colors, and the last third of it is gypsophilia. Grew it last year. It's amazing. This I planted with my paper pot transplanters. This is a very new thing. This is stock. There's definitely a learning curve. Um, I lost some of it just falling out of the pots. Anyway, that will be a whole different thing that I talk about, but that is stock. This is some feverfew overwintered, and then down beyond that is status, um, which I've planted this spring. So the status is from this spring. You can see it there. It needs a little fertilizer. It got a little neglected. I don't know. It died a little bit. So um, I think that next bed is just ready for some spring crops. It's just prepped there. This is yarrow, the next bed, and then here's my daffodils, and there's a tulip box. So I have perennial yarrow on the right, and then on the left are all my daffodils. This is one of my favorite varieties of daffodils, actually, but bloomed really short. I got it before I got into flowers. I planted these before I was really into flower farming, and I didn't realize they were so short, but I really love them. They're super adorable. So I just picked some and let them bloom in the field. I just love their buttery, ruffly petals. I can't remember what they're called though. Here's a different daffodil variety. This is called Sir Winston Churchill. It's clearly still in bud stage. It's one of the later ones, but it has all these little blooms on every stem, like 3 to 5, and they're really adorable. This is probably my favorite daffodil variety here that's not quite ready, but look, it's coming super close. It's called the Yosemite Valley. It's pretty hard to get a hold of, and it's quite expensive. I don't have a ton of it, but I have a nice patch of it. Here's a different variety called Replete. It's one of the earlier ones. It is all picked. There's just a few there in the field that I didn't get to that you can see. Here's another variety. This was supposed to be white lion. There's 400 of them, and clearly isn't a not white lion, so the supplier sent it to me incorrectly, but it's still really beautiful, and there are lots of them. I had 400 of them. So there's the end of the yarrow bed, and you can see all the daffodils. There's over, I don't know, maybe 1,500 daffodils in there. So that's my yarrow. Tiny bit of Rudbeckia. This is a different kind of yarrow, just a different color. And then here's the end of the bed there. And now we're going to look back here. So most of this is planted. There's some new yarrow and then some sweet William. And then there's tulips up there. And the yarrow is a short-lived perennial, so that one bed of yarrow looks great, but it's kind of on its way out. So I'll harvest it this year and then terminate it and replant with something different. Oh, there's my kitty cat, Wilhelmina. And here's my tulips, some of my tulips, and they're getting pretty close to blooming. You can see that's a purple variety, and it's just starting to bloom that I have not picked one single one of those yet. So there's a couple thousand of them, 2,000. Not right there. There's about 1,000 of them. You can see my drip lines all over the place, of course, and my kitty cat is pretty happy to be there. Here's some more direct seeded beds. These again were direct seeded this spring, so that means I just sprinkle the seeds directly on the ground. This is giant poppy pods right there, which look fantastic. There's some great germination. I love direct seeding in the spring. I take my hoe and weed down the rows, and it's pretty easy. So this is just the other side of those beds. Other direct seeded stuff here. On the left there is larkspur, I think, and then on the right is, I can't remember, but this is larkspur. You can see the little tiny plants. I do not thin larkspur. There's Wilhelmina just coming to drink my coffee. I don't thin it, and then at the end of the bed is bupleurum. So I do half the bed of larkspur, half bupleurum, and then this is some nigella, and at the end of the bed is a cress here. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but again, look at that great germination. You can see the rows. Next to those direct seeded bed are these peonies. These are the first peonies I planted. I think their third year. I had to go back and burn the holes bigger, and that was exciting because definitely they needed a bigger place to grow, and they're really coming along here. So some of them even have buds starting. So, oh, look, here she comes. She's just following me all around. So it's always changing, so I hope I'm just capturing like the garden in this moment. Here are more tulips. Here's the rest of my tulips. I harvested one of these or three, but I think I should have harvested. So you can tell they're coming. They're not quite ready to pick. Almost. I picked one of these. So they look lovely. Gotta let them. That one's close. There's Wilhelmina. So here's the rest of those tulips. These are my garden boxes. I've been putting in more topsoil for them. And I plant my vegetables here, like I said. So those tulips all come out and my vegetables will go in. I love this space. There's an apple tree in the middle. And it's just been fun. My husband made all these, and I enjoy this space for personal vegetables, and it's just kind of a work in progress. There's a bed of strawberries there that's needs to get lifted up and kind of sunk down a bit, but there's rhubarb in the back, and I think it just is a fun little area that I enjoy. It's already needing some attention, but it's fun. Then this is a perennial area. I don't use this a ton for cutting. It's just more for pleasure. It needs a little TLC. You can see there's a lot of grass creeping into it. I have some Triloba rudbeckia back here and some mint that I cut off of. Otherwise, it's mostly for the bees. That's some salvia. I've got some nepeta, Russian sage, mint. I've got a columbine. I've got a pretty tree in the corner that's gonna flower here soon, a butterfly bush, rocks, a stump to sit on. I enjoy it, but it does need a little work. There's a lot of grass creeping into it right now, but it's enjoyable. So I just enjoy this area. It's just mostly for pleasure. I did sprinkle in a bunch of poppy seeds there, so we'll see if any of them germinate and take. I'd love to have some poppies in there. So you can see here's an overview. There's the garden boxes, and there's the main annual area, which is becoming more and more perennial. The only other spot to show you is over here, which is another annual area. Meanwhile, here's an apple tree that I'm delighted because it's starting to bud, and it's getting blossoms. We don't get a lot of apples, but they're fun to have. This is the area where I sow most of my sunflowers. I expanded it to be 90 feet long. It's 40 feet wide. That's because I want my paper pots to go in there, and that they have a 90-foot long chain. But we were burning it. My husband was burning that area. It had a tarp on it. We just took the tarp off. Burning is actually really good for the soil. It kills weed seeds and gets rid of the grass. And the ash actually has good nutrients in it. I mean, you don't want too much, but this is a cover crop that I had put in. This is a clover cover crop, so I will mow this and till it later. It will probably get twice as big as that and flower. It gets a red crimson clover. It gets a red flower on it. So I like this area, and I'm hoping to improve the soil. So this is a cover crop. So that will be ready to plant all my sunflower successions this summer. That's the end of this tour. I hope you enjoyed it, and please join us next time. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.